Hello, I'm Kelly Thompson, Superintendent of Muskego-Norway Schools, joined by Julie Kelly, who's our Assistant Superintendent for Business Services, Operations, and Human Resources. We have Jeff Peterson, Assistant Superintendent for Continuous Improvement, and Jeremiah Johnson, our Buildings and Grounds Supervisor. We are here today to talk about our master planning process, where we have been and where we're going in the future. The objective of this video is to provide the community with some background of the master planning work to date, also to share preliminary timeframes and vision for the future, and to inform the community regarding a survey that will be delivered by the end of this week, early next week. As an overview, we've had a master planning committee begin their work in November of 2014. The school board directed that committee to look at the aging elementary schools as well as any other facility needs throughout our system. The goal of the district's efforts is to attain the vision to be the district of choice in southeastern Wisconsin for students, parents, and staff. The master planning committee, comprised of 36 community members and parents, as well as a number of staff members and administrators, work closely with our architect and construction manager companies to come up with a number of recommendations for the board to consider. In April, the Master Planning Committee provided the board with a number of recommendations. Since April of 2015, the board worked to prioritize those as well as create a broad plan along with some individual questions to ask the community for feedback. So this week, again, a district-wide survey will arrive in mailboxes to elicit critical feedback from the community around each potential solution. Jeff Peterson will review the elementary facility needs as identified by the Master Planning Committee.
Thank you, Kelly. And now what I'd like to do is present some of the findings that our Master Planning Committee found when we visited each of the elementary schools and the other schools within our system. Let's begin with our first elementary school, Test Corners Elementary. That's one of our 3 elementary schools in our school district that is nearing 100 years old. It should be known that Test Corners is our largest elementary school in our school district that serves kindergarten through 4th grade. Some of what our Master Planning Committee decided on is that Test Corners lacks ADA compliance, which is important because that follows along the American Disabilities Act, and at present it doesn't allow us to serve all of our population that might call that their home school by attendance boundaries. If you take a look at this particular picture, this demonstrates that we have multiple classrooms or multiple groups of students that are being taught within the same classroom. There are 4 groups of students that are being taught, divided by temporary walls put in place to support instruction. Taking a look at this particular picture, it demonstrates in Test Corners the narrow hallways that exist. It becomes very challenging during busy times of the day to pass with multiple groups in the hallway side by side because of how narrow they are. This picture takes a look at one day when Test Corners in the winter of 2015 lost heat. One of the things that the Master Planning Committee did decide on, if you take a look at this picture, is that the mechanicals are outdated. In fact, so outdated that some parts on these mechanicals cannot be replaced because there are no replacement parts. Therefore, the Master Planning Committee recommends that we close Test Corners, and students and staff from Test Corners would move to one of the 3 remaining elementary schools within our system. As we move on to another one of our elementary schools, Muskego Elementary, that is also another building that is close to 100 years old. It's the smallest elementary school within our system. Similarly, it should be known that Muskego Elementary does lack also ADA compliance, so very similar to Test Corners. Furthermore, when you take a look at the site of Muskego Elementary, it is actually 6 acres smaller than the current recommended size for a lot for elementary schools as we look at new construction today. So if you take a look at this picture, this is an example of how we are storing FIAD equipment in the kitchen serving area, the same place that we serve students lunch each and every day. This next picture demonstrates how small group instruction does happen out in the hallway, and if students are passing, potentially could cause a tripping hazard. The stairs that you see in this particular picture is one example at Muskego Elementary of how many stairs actually exist within that structure. Although it's a two-story building, there are actually 6 different levels that are found within that current building. Muskego Elementary also shares something very similar as Test Corners. This is a picture of the aged mechanicals. Similarly, last year, the winter of 2015, Muskego Elementary also did lose heat, and we were fortunate enough to be able to find a fix. But similarly, when we did a search for parts across the state, the region, and country, we were not able to find replacement parts for this particular mechanism. This next picture demonstrates a picture of a thermostat gun, so to say, and we actually recorded on a spring day 2 years ago, that would be the spring of 2013, where the temperature in one of the classrooms at Muskego Elementary reached 114 degrees. And this picture would demonstrate that we do actually serve lunch in our gymnasiums, and as part of the Master Planning Committee recommendation for all elementary schools, not just Muskego Elementary, we take a look at separating lunch in a cafeteria from the gymnasium. So as we wrap up Muskego Elementary, the Master Planning Committee recommends that we close Muskego Elementary and that students and staff may be moved to one of the 3 remaining elementary schools. Moving on to our 3rd elementary school, Mill Valley. That also is another building within our system that's nearing 100 years old. Currently serves just over 300 students, kindergarten through 4th grade. Similar to our other 2 elementary schools, it does lack ADA upgrades, and those are definitely needed. When the Master Planning Committee, with the support of C.G. Schmidt, our construction manager that we're looking to hire and have hired, and Bray Architects, in partnership, we discovered that Mill Valley site is actually large enough for expansion. But before we get to those particular details, let's take a look at the picture of Mill Valley and the potential expansion that might happen at Mill Valley. You can see that the current gymnasium, which is found at the north side of the lots and closest to the road, that gymnasium, current gymnasium, will become a cafeteria. And then if you were to go to the far west side of the picture, you'll see the new gymnasium, and this picture will demonstrate that we are looking to cluster our grade levels together to increase and improve on collaboration that exists with our respective teachers and grade levels. So the Master Planning Committee does recommend that we would add classrooms, music rooms, art rooms, restrooms. We would renovate the gym to a cafeteria so that we could host larger events, community use. And we would increase efficiencies with new boilers, heating, and lighting. Also increase on-site parking. Let's take a look at a couple pictures from Mill Valley and what the Master Planning Committee looked at. This is the ladies' restroom at Mill Valley. Staff do use this, as well as guests visiting the building. When you do open the door, there are steps down, and it does pose some safety concerns for staff using that bathroom and guests. This picture demonstrates that Mill Valley still does have fuses within their building, and fuses are no longer used as we look to wire buildings for electricity. And lastly, this picture demonstrates that students are being served lunch in the hallway at Mill Valley. So once again, as I stated earlier, the Master Planning Committee would be looking to renovate the gym to a cafeteria so that a new gym could be built to not only host larger events and community use, but also allow Mill Valley students to be served and eat lunch in a new cafeteria. Next elementary school, the fourth in our school district, Lakeview Elementary, serves kindergarten through fourth grade. It's one of our newer elementary schools in the district. Built in 1955, serves just over 300 students, kindergarten through fourth grade. It is a school that currently does serve Town of Norway students, although not the only school in our district that serves Town of Norway students. The Master Planning Committee recommending that the gym turn to a cafeteria and that the new gym would be built in the current courtyard area of Lakeview Elementary. Additionally, the Master Planning Committee would look to add on-site parking to the back side of the school where the current playground exists, and we would move the playground as we look to increase parking. Furthermore, Lakeview Elementary, we would be looking to add air conditioning, new heating system controls to improve the air quality, and ventilators for our students and staff. So this brings us to our fifth and final elementary school in our district, Country Meadows Elementary. It is unique because it houses two schools within one structure, but Country Meadows has its own wing. The complex was built in 1968, and although it currently does have 975 students kindergarten through 8th grade, Country Meadows only has 266 students. Classroom updates are needed to best meet the instructional needs. When we take a look at what the Master Planning Committee is recommending, they are recommending that we renovate the school to only serve elementary students kindergarten through 4th grade with a size of 650 to 700 students. As we take a look at this particular picture, in blue, we've highlighted what the Master Planning Committee also has recommended, that we would do some renovations and changes to the library. Furthermore, in the lower level, on the right side of this picture, we would increase art rooms. And if you were to take a close look at the picture, we're looking to cluster grade levels to improve collaboration and planning for our students and staff. And please note that kindergarten is located in the lower level, which would afford our youngest learners within that school to have a space of their own.
So after the review of the elementary schools and the impact the plan could have on each of those 5 elementaries, we'll move to talking about the middle school impact. The Master Planning Committee recommends the community consider building a new 5th through 8th grade middle school on the property that was purchased back in 2008 off of North Cape. And this is a picture of where that land is in relation to Tudor Oaks and the walking path just south of McShane. The middle school would be built to serve 5th through 8th grade students. It would be of a comparable size to Lake Danoon Middle School. It would be equipped with building efficiencies, energy efficient HVAC and lighting systems, offer a 2-station gym to accommodate physical education classes, large group events, and community activities. It would also provide flexible learning environments that meet the middle school curriculum, including areas related to science, technology, engineering, and math classes, or STEM classes, and more hands-on learning opportunities. And Lake Danoon Middle School will remain a 5th through 8th grade school, serving approximately 750 students. The Master Planning Committee recommended that no improvements or renovations be made to Lake Danoon. It is one of our newest buildings, built in 1999. Now Jeremiah Johnson will speak to the high school components of the base plan.
In addition to the Master Planning Committee exploring all options at the elementary and middle school level, they also took a look at the high school level and programs that are thriving and growing and any needs that might be at our high school facility. Our high school was renovated in 2003, although many parts of the facility were not renovated during that renovation. The high school currently serves approximately 1,600 students in grades 9 through 12. The recommendation of the Master Planning Committee would be to continue to operate as a high school but to renovate the band and choir areas to meet expanding program needs. This picture demonstrates the breadth of our band program, which is touted to be one of the largest in the state. As you can see, when all of the band members are practicing together, it's quite packed in the facility that they currently are housed in. The recommendation would be to expand this facility east into the current storage areas and relocate storage areas across the hallway. As you can see in this picture, this is a possible configuration of what could become our arts wing. We would be finding other spaces in the facility to house the classrooms that are currently adjacent to the band program. In addition, we would look to make some upgrades to the STEM area of the school. This area is in the lower level and houses our wood shop, our auto shop, and STEM classrooms. We would look to section off the wing and create more collaboration space and do some adjustments to allow this program to continue to grow and be updated. In addition, in the northeast corner of our building, we have our Project Lead the Way program. This program is currently a growing program that we would like to provide more space to. We would look to close off a corridor and also create more collaboration space and more learning area for students. Julie Kelly will now be going over the financial portions of the Master Planning Committee's recommendations.
Now that you've had an opportunity to hear about the Master Planning Committee's recommendation for the base plan, we would like to give you some background on the cost estimates for each of the plans as well as the tax impact of the overall plan as presented. For Mill Valley Elementary, we are looking at an estimated cost of $10.4 million. Lakeview Elementary has an estimated cost of $4.6 million. Turning Country Meadows Elementary and Bay Lane Middle School into an elementary has an estimated cost of $4.9 million. The two schools not listed on this plan are Tess Corners Elementary and Muskego Elementary. The Master Planning Committee did recommend to close and sell both pieces of property. The new middle school has an estimated cost of $34.1 million, and Muskego High School we're looking at an estimated cost of just over $1 million. With a total project cost of $55 million, the property tax mill rate impact would be 53 cents per thousand of home's value. If you look at a home of $100,000, that would be an annual tax impact of $53. This is a graphical representation of the impact that a $55 million referendum would have to the taxpayers in the community. If you look at this graph, the dark blue lines represent our current debt levy as it exists today. When you get to the year 2021, you will notice that the dark blue bar drops significantly. If we were to get to 2021 and not issue any new debt, the district would essentially be debt-free, meaning that we would have paid off all of Lake Danoon and all of the high school referendum debts. The light gray bars above, starting in 2017, show the new impact that the referendum would have on the debt levy. If you go from the year 2016 to the year 2017, you will notice an impact of from 96 cents per thousand to $1.36 per thousand. And then again in 2018 to $1.49 per thousand. Overall, the tax impact again is 53 cents per thousand. The school board would also have to approve the use of about $2.3 million of fund balance in order to support the first 4-year payments from the borrowing. After the year 2020, moving forward, debt would be issued 20 years out to support the balance of the referendum cost.
In addition to the base plan, the Master Planning Committee also considered additional options for renovations at the high school. Some of those areas include the high school swimming pool, our football stadium, and other aspects of our outdoor facilities. Starting with our pool is 50 years old and in need of significant repairs. Our pool currently only has 6 lanes, whereas most other pools in our conference have 8 lanes and a diving well. We also have insufficient space around the pool and pool deck space for both our visitors and our competitors. We currently can only host about 150 visitors for an event to spectate. In this slide, you'll see a potential solution for our swimming pool. Coming off of our cafeteria, we would propose that you would enter into the facility near restrooms and a seating area, which would then lead to the expanded facility which would house the pool. The pool would have 8 lanes and a diving well. Seating will also be expanded within the facility to allow for more spectators. As we look at this next slide, it would demonstrate reasons why we need to renovate our pool. The current pool deck, as stated earlier, is insufficient for both the competitors on one side and the spectators on the other. As you currently exit the locker rooms, it is far too close to the swimming pool. Our current graduated depth, which can be explained in terms of the deep end transitioning into the shallow end, is currently grandfathered by competition standards, but no longer meets code. That means that if we completed any renovations to the pool, that we would lose that grandfathered status. We currently perform preventative maintenance on our diving board daily to ensure that we extend the life of the diving board. If our diving board were to break, we would not be able to repair or replace the diving board, and we would have to decommission our diving program. This picture exemplifies our decaying pool liner. Our pool liner is over 20 years old and is due for replacing. The replacement cost would be approximately $250,000, and we could incur additional costs if more issues were found upon replacement. In June of 2015, we experienced a pool leak in which the liner ended up leaking over 500 gallons of water a day. We were able to remedy the leak and no programs were impacted during that time. However, given the age of the pool liner, a leak could happen at any time. In this picture, you'll see our football stadium. Our football stadium has the smallest bleacher capacity in our conference and does not accommodate the varsity football attendance. We are the only district in the conference that does not have artificial turf. Artificial turf would provide the opportunity to allow for freshman, JV, and varsity football games, as well as accommodating our band and community use. We currently typically only use our football field for JV and varsity games. The Master Planning Committee would recommend adding 2,300 seats to the bleachers. As seen in the picture, not only are the bleachers full, but the fence lines are full, nearly 5 people deep. We would look to add restrooms and plumbing to our football facilities, which currently do not have restrooms. We would look to create ADA paths to all of our fields. This picture shows our tennis courts. The tennis court surfacing is aged and due for resurfacing. As the tennis court surface ages, bare spots are exposed that create slip hazards. In addition, the track surrounding our football stadium is due for resurfacing. The exposed areas create slip hazards also for track members. In addition to the Master Planning Committee recommendations to address the pool, football stadium, track, and tennis courts, they would look to improve accessibility of our softball diamonds and soccer fields by implementing ADA compliance by putting in walking paths.
With the additional considerations from the Master Planning Committee with regard to the high school swimming pool and outdoor athletic facilities, this slide shows the impact that would have both financially to the district as well as to taxpayers. For the high school swimming pool, we would be looking at a total project cost of $7.4 to $8.5 million. This would increase the property tax mill rate by 24 cents per thousand of a home's value. The outdoor athletic facility project has a total project cost of around $6 million, and this would increase the property tax mill rate by 18 cents per thousand of a home's value.
So thank you for the opportunity to review the Master Planning Committee's recommendations to the board and the board's plan to survey the community on each of these areas. And also a thank you goes out to the Master Planning Committee members who spent quite a bit of time, energy, and effort reviewing the facilities and coming up with recommendations for the board to consider. As a reminder, the survey to elicit feedback on each option will arrive in mailboxes of each home in the district at the end of September. Results of the survey will assess community support of the options, and a potential spring 2016 referendum would be determined based on the feedback from the community. The ultimate goal of creating a master plan is to realize our vision to be the district of choice. Thank you again, and please share your vision.